You're listening to the Art of Quantum Healing podcast with your host, Lisa Nadler. Each week we'll be welcoming divine souls who have overcome trauma, mental health addiction, and found next level abundance through mind, body, and soul connection. We will be going deep on one subject to teach and guide you. My mission is to help you high vibe, thrive with inner peace, passion, and purpose, all in the name of evolution. Welcome to another episode of the Art of Quantum Healing. I must say that this is probably the one that I've been the most excited about. I have my BFF sister, we call each other wifeys, on board today doing a beautiful episode all around meditation, and I'd like to introduce you to the divine Narelle Clyde.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm just going to sort of like tell you a little bit about Narelle just so you can get to know her. But I think more so that she's like me. She's not into the label bullshit. She's more into this is who I am and you feel my energy and this is what I do. So Narelle is a spiritual life coach. She's a visionary artist or just divine, and she channels a channeler for light language based in the Gold Coast of Australia, originally from UK. Narelle works with people who are feeling blocked, stuck and unsure of their path forward. She helps them to shift into the most elevated version of themselves, resulting in more energy, confidence and overall success in their lives and businesses. She's a fucking genius, can I just tell you? Side note, hashtag. Her passion is helping others to live their best possible life by aligning them with their soul blueprint, guiding them to be who they are and all they were born to be. Juicy, divine. Welcome, sister.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So this has been a long awaited connection, I think.
I know. So many times we've gone to do it and it's just like something's come up and something's come up and something's come up. I think we had to have all this beautiful divine growth in between to really fully express ourselves. So I'm excited.
Me too. I'm pumped to be here. So yeah.
So we're going to start chatting about, we've talked about meditation and we've talked about how we're going to start talking about that, and goodness knows, listeners, where we will go to, because when Narelle and I have a conversation, we could end up in the 12th dimension. Who freaking knows?
That is true.
Or we could end up talking about all the different juicy chakras and goodness knows what. So at the moment we're setting the precedent that we're really going to give you some beautiful knowledge around meditation, because Narelle is an absolute master. She's mastered the art within herself. She doesn't just talk it, she fucking does it. Like, she is the one place that she has the most ultimate structure and organization in her life is this place. Like, you live and breathe it. So how did you get into meditation?
So really it was from having one anxiety attack too many. It was like, okay, this is it. I have to change. I have to do something. I have to take control of this thing, this kind of beast that has been sort of hanging over me for the past, I think at that point, 20 years on and off anxiety attacks, being signed off work and different things. And it really was just one day something snapped and I was like, okay, I got to take the bull by the horns, and meditation was the first place I went to. And I've never looked back.
Wow, that's incredible. And when you started to, I will just talk, of course, when you were going to go somewhere else, and when you started to really get in, because you're a spiritual life coach, when you started to really get into that realm, how did you transport from one side to the other? How did you go from like meditation to knowing this was your work, this is what you were here to teach? How did that transitional period happen? Because a lot of people don't know how all of a sudden, or how to go down their soul path, so, and I know that you're extremely connected, but it's really good for people to understand that, I followed the breadcrumbs, I followed the nudges, or how it actually transfers to where you are to be now.
Yeah, good question. So for me, it was really a case of exploration. It was, following the breadcrumbs, or as I like to say, pulling on the golden thread and just sort of seeing what comes from that. And I really, took the journey of working with mentors, spiritual teachers, spiritual life coaches, lots of different people myself, and had that experience. And from my own journey and how much that transformed my life and how much that really helped me through a difficult time in my life where, you know, I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live, and I knew there was more. I didn't really know what that looked like, and I was really kind of stumbling around trying to find my way. Those mentors and coaches that I worked with were absolutely invaluable to me, and I just thought, gosh, what a gift to be able to help someone like that. I was just sparked. It just ignited something within me. And I was like, I want to help people like I have been helped. I want to, you know, it's kind of like not a passing of the baton, but it's like, you know, my flame was lit by them, and then I get to light other people's flames in the same way. So
you want people to feel his friggin' magic as you feel. You're like, well, if I can feel as good, how can somebody else? It's like,
yeah, that's exactly it. And so, you know, I used to think, you know, I felt okay, or, you know, some days I felt good or whatever before. Pales in comparison to how I feel now and how I've, you know, been able to, you know, we're always up leveling, we're always up evolving. So there's always more. But, you know, you can kind of see people walking around with this heavy baggage, this heavy energy. And it's like, oh gosh, like if only you knew how great it gets to be and how like amazing life really is, and how you can really enjoy that, you know, through your purpose, through your passions, through everything. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got started.
And then when you started meditating and you were like really in it and you were feeling it and you had all these beautiful people that were showing you what to do, and then how did you go deeper into the journey? Because, okay, let's just talk, okay, let's take a step back. Like when I started meditating, oh my fucking God, it was like monkey mind, one-on-one, ADD brain. And a lot of people find it really hard to drop into their bodies. And there's also, and we'll talk about this too, that there's the misconceptions around meditation. So whichever one you feel like I've just got on two different things there, but you know, whichever one that one's going to flow into the other that you want to talk about, like whether it's the misunderstandings or how you actually get into your channel, how you actually start to open up your field so that you can start really grounding into the beautifulness.
Gosh, there's so much
to talk about. That was a lot, sorry.
Like you might need to remind me to make sure we cover everything on that. So I think we'll start with the monkey mind thing, and that happens for everyone. You know, I think it's a kind of like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me because I can't get my brain to slow down. It's like, that is the whole point.
That was me. And
so, yeah, you know, it happens to all of us like that. You know, we've all got over 60,000 thoughts happening in our brain a day.
Is that more for women?
Probably. Haven't done the research, but probably. Well, it's, you know, it is true. Like men typically can, you know, single focus. Women are like juggling all the things all the time. And so, yeah, it's not a case of like you do one meditation and all of a sudden, bing, you know, all the thoughts are gone. And it's a journey. It's, you know, still to this day, like I've been meditating very consistently for years, and I still get monkey mind. I had monkey mind this morning where I just couldn't seem to drop in. And it's like, can I be okay with that? Yes, we're human. Our brains are managing a lot of information, and especially now with technology, and you know, we've got information coming at us from all angles all the time, and all these things we've got to remember and do, and lists and blah blah blah. Like, it's okay, you know, let it go. Yeah. So I think that's the most important thing to start, you know, the foundations to remember is, you know, it's totally normal to have the monkey mind. What was the question after that?
That is also a great thing, because a lot of people think, and as you said, you know, that you have to boom and all of a sudden you're in there. And I know for me, and and I don't know, any of the audience that are listening will go, oh fuck, that's me as well. I'm an instant gratification girl. Like if I don't see results really fast, I'm like, nah, this isn't working, it's not for me. Nah, you know, and we all know that's the good old ego and all those bloody stories we tell ourselves. But I was a very deep, and I still have times where I get into that instant gratitude. So to know that you just keep going. And actually, let's talk about the ego, because that's a nice segue. We'll go back to the other
That's
stuff.
a big part.
It's a big one. So, and this is, as you know, because you've taught me meditation, it is, the ego is just, it's a crafty, and it gets more sophisticated. So how do we start to make a relationship to understand the ego?
Sneaky little
Little
that it is. Yeah, and I do want to just touch on what you said about before, because it's like accountability is a really, really big thing. For me, I was very lucky to have a partner who was a seasoned meditator, and so that kind of helped to keep me on track. And so for anyone who is starting out, or looking for a consistent practice, find a way to be accountable. We all know what works for us individually, like if it's someone, a coach, a mentor, a group, a friend, a partner, whatever. Some people are really good at keeping themselves accountable, and so yeah, it's that is a big piece.
Yeah,
and
I agree. That's a great tip, Narelle. That's great. Yeah, because you don't have to do any of this, anything. You don't have to do it alone. It's really good to have someone there. And, that's why Narelle and I, we call each other wives, because we talk so much about, we share, and because we go through exactly what everybody else goes through. There's always different ways and different levels and different understandings around it. But it's so good to have someone that you can just go, oh my God, this happened this morning. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my brain, holy shit. And also sometimes it can be like, I was the same. Oh yeah, I'm normal. It's really good. It really is. Yeah.
And that's the benefit of, being accountable to someone who knows the journey, because you can go, that's totally normal. Like, I keep wanting to check my time, or I keep wanting to check, like, my phone isn't broken because I feel like I'm just sitting here for hours. And it's like, that's the ego. Yeah, and it's all completely normal, and so it can be really reassuring to go, oh, okay, like this is all part of it. And so we could spend hours just talking about the ego alone, but to touch on your question, it's very sneaky, and so it will find all the excuses in all the world. I don't have time, meditation doesn't work for me, this is not the right time of day, I'll do it later, my brain just won't shut off. All of the reasons. You'll feel hot, you'll feel cold, you'll feel hungry, you'll be like, oh, maybe I need to pee first, and maybe I need to do this, that, and the other. And the brain is coming up with all these reasons why you shouldn't do it. And it's uncomfortable. Like, the body is addicted to a certain way of being. And as soon as you're going to take it out of that, it's like, whoa, hang on a second. We're going to change, we're going to evolve. And the ego hates that. It's like its worst nightmare. So the more and this is, the benefit of meditation, it weans the ego. So you have to be able to push through that resistance and through those barriers and through those excuses that the ego is going to give you all day long, which will make logical sense, lots of them. And so it's just putting it to the side, going, I see you, ego. I see what you're trying to do here. I'm the boss. And sitting anyway, even if the whole thing, your mind is going absolutely everywhere. Yeah. Sorry, ego. This is what we're doing today. Yeah. And it gets easier.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable. Oh gosh, yeah. Like your physical body will kick up an absolute fuss with, all sorts of different feelings and emotions. Like if you have deep-seated anger or emotions that you haven't been dealing with, or you haven't been acknowledging or working through, meditation is going to bring them up. Meditation is not about sitting there all zen and peaceful in a blissed out state, flying through the clouds of,
I fucking wish it was.
Totally, like that's not meditation. Like meditation is getting beyond yourself, getting beyond your body, beyond your mind, beyond your soul even, and into the unknown. Again, which the ego hates, because the ego likes familiarity, it likes comfort, it likes to know what's happening. It doesn't know what's happening in meditation. It's going to be different every single time, and so it's shaky ground, especially in the beginning. And you also go through you know, like you'll go to maybe like a little plateau, and then the ego will come in with something else. Like will find ways to get in there and get around. And so sometimes you can feel like, I've got some really good momentum, I'm having some really deep, beautiful, you know, transcendental meditations, and then like, oh God, I've got knocked off my path again. It's all part of it. It's like this little upward
right
cycle.
Yeah. And that, I think that's the biggest thing, is that people think, I love that you did that, you know, everything's, oh, this is beautiful, it's wonderful. Meditation, from my understanding, is it's not meant to be all that. It's meant to show you what you need to see. And like this morning when I meditated, I got taken to, I'm actually doing Narelle's 30-day soul blueprint. And you listen to a activation every morning, and you set the intention. And this morning, I haven't told you yet, I got taken, and I'm delving deeper into my soul purpose. And this morning, I got taken. I didn't see. I'm not a seer, and that used to frustrate the shit out of me. I want to see all the juices everybody else sees. I'm a more of a, I get a channel, I get the words. But I did actually get taken back, and I did actually see myself in a fuzzy way on the balcony talking to one of my mentors, Anthony, and him telling me these 3 really golden things, and it was like, oh my God, this is part of what I need to remember. So, you know, and it's just amazing. Yeah, so there's different things that you do get through, but you get what you need at the time, don't you? So
absolutely.
Is setting an intention for every meditation a good idea? Or is it, because there's different sorts of meditation, but there's lots of different ones.
Oh gosh, there's lots of different ones, and I'm a big, yeah, I know, we might need to come back. So I'm a big fan of intention. Yeah. On its own, like intention in everything, intention with your day, with your food, with the way you move your body, with the way you hold yourself. So meditation, for sure, like intention is extremely powerful. And I think the clearer you can be, the better. It doesn't have to be specific, like I want to get this. It's kind of quite ego-based anyway. But it should be clear, like my intention is to learn how to control my monkey mind. My intention is to see something I need to see, connect to my soul purpose. Like, I mean, it can be anything, absolutely anything. To heal, you know, we can talk about the different types of meditation, because there are so many different types. Like, yes, there are meditations that are designed to help you relax. And I think, you know, anyone who is feeling anxiety or like, you know, that kind of fight or flight stress response on a regular basis, that would be a really good place to start, because we want to calm the nervous system. Because if the nervous system is fired up, it's very difficult to access higher states of consciousness. Right. Because from that response, from that kind of fear, anxiety response in your body, fear and love can't exist at the same time. You know, fear and gratitude, they cannot exist at the same time. And so love is, you know, very, very high vibration, highest vibration of them all. And so that's where you're accessing higher levels of consciousness. Yeah. And so you can see how it's very, very hard to be able to access that from that state. So relaxation, great place to start. Let's calm the nervous system. Let's get back into the body, and then progress from there. And then you've, you know, meditations that are specific to, you know, talk to your business, or to delve into your soul purpose, or to have a mystical experience, or to connect with your higher self, or to heal. It's very, very healing. And you can find, to go back to what I was saying before about, you know, emotions that you haven't maybe dealt with through meditation, when you access different parts of the brain through your meditation practice, I'm not going to go technical. I'm just going to go broad. But when you're accessing different parts of the brain, you then access different memories and emotions. Doesn't mean, like, you know, if there's something from your childhood, for example, that really created an emotion of anger that you've been storing within you for a long time. Yeah. you don't necessarily need to go back to that memory in the meditation, but you can access the emotion and you can start to release it purely through the meditation. You don't have to do anything. And so it's incredibly healing for, lightening the load, liberating yourself, getting rid of that gunk and junk. So yeah, there's so
potent,
much.
isn't it? It's meditation is, as you said right at the start, it's not just about sitting in the Zen state. It's about really tuning in, and because it opens your channel, right, as well. I mean, you, as you say, you know, you're in those lower frequencies, you're in those lower dimensional feelings when you're in the fear and the flight, and that's where, like, as you said at the start of it, you know, that's where you lived all your time. You're like, oh my God, I've got to get out of that. And now where you are now, and you're accessing the higher realms, and you're playing in the higher your higher consciousness and with your higher self and all that sort of juiciness, you know, it's completely different. So when it comes to the healing aspects of meditation, is there certain meditations that are really more powerful? Like, I know for me, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I love his work. Like, it's just, and he's put me onto it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, it's so powerful, and it makes sense, you know. And I remember being in Bali doing one of his ones. Actually, you'd given it to me, and oh my God, it was the first time I did it, I bawled my eyes out because it was connecting to all your different centers. I was just like feeling the love. And then the next day I did it, I was frustrated. So, you know, it's and even in that moment I knew that it was really good for me because you told me. Because I remember one of your favorite saying is, Lisa, there is no bad meditation. So I'm like, I had a terrible meditation this morning. Lisa, no.
No bad meditation.
No.
Yes, very good. Very true.
Yeah. So what would be some really good healing meditations that you would give someone if they've got a lot of, like, and especially where the energies at the moment are in the world, you know, there's a lot of fear-based illusionary stuff that in the matrix that's going on around us. There's a lot of different feelings that are coming to people. You know, people are feeling like they're not secure, they're feeling stuck, they're feeling all the different, you know, the feelings that are all the feels. What would be some really good stuff right now to go, okay, so go away and do this? What tips, little things you can give them right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're completely brand new to meditation, the first thing you got to do is learn how to sit. And so, like a dog. And so, you know, spending 3 minutes, you know, start with 3 minutes or 5 minutes, put your phone timer on, you know, put your phone on silent, sit. And this is important as well. Sitting instead of laying down is 99% of the time what I recommend. There are certain meditations, like, for example, there's a whole bunch of free meditations that I've got on YouTube, but for different scenarios and different things. But you can, and sometimes it's good to lay down for that, but usually sitting upright is perfect because you're in alignment, you're, you know, accessing higher consciousness. When you're laying down, it's a signal for your body to rest, to sleep, which is not usually what we want. So so sitting up, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, set your phone timer and just close your eyes and just sit, and, you know, probably come up against all the monkey mind and lists, and, you know, I feel like I've been sitting here all day, or, you know, whatever. And then do that, you know, do that for 7 days in a row, 2 weeks in a row, and gradually build up over 30 days to 15 minutes where you can
don't
sit.
overwhelm yourself.
Don't overwhelm yourself. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not trying to, you know, win a race. Like, it's a journey. It's a lifelong journey. It's a practice. It's not, it's the same as exercise. You know, you don't go to the gym for 2 weeks and expect to have your best body ever. And
Yes,
then never
I do. Have we met?
You know, it's something that you have to incorporate into your lifestyle. Meditation is exactly the same.
You've got to form a habit, because habits take, as you just said, 30 days. Habits take, they say, from at least 28 days. So
well, the average is 66 days to form a habit. And, you know, how many people give up at the 7-day point, never mind 66 days. So I always say 30 days is good because it's achievable. you're going to get some momentum, and you're also going to find the benefits of it. You're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to notice things, and that's going to inspire you to keep going. And then from there, I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza for healing, for really connecting in. Yeah, he is amazing. He's got such a great array of meditations, and Blessing of the Energy Centers is a fantastic one. What's his name? Dawson Church is also an amazing person that I would recommend. And
what's his speciality? Is it just...
He's very similar to Dr. Joe, very, very similar to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he has, but he focuses a lot on tapping, so EFT. So he has a meditation called Eco Meditation. It is free.
Yes.
Yes. And it incorporates the tapping, which I'm a big fan of, and it's beautiful because it's got heart breathing in there, connecting to your heart, connecting to love, the highest frequency. It's got tapping. It's an actual meditation. It really, ticks all boxes. So yeah, those two would definitely be good. But just first things first, don't run before you can walk. Just learn to sit.
And people are very, they like to achieve fast, you know, that it's like, and it's what we talked about before, you know, like, where's my results? How come I'm not seeing things? How come I'm not?
Totally. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people. Like, where's my
reward?
Oh,
give me a reward.
I've done the good thing. Now, where's the magic, you know? And it really, you know, good things come to those who wait. So or are patient rather, not waiting around, waiting for the universe to deliver something. You're there, you're doing the work. But just keep going.
Love it. I love it. And you touched on it before, the benefits, like, and this is a big theme, because I know, and even my hubby says to me, have you meditated today? Like, this is the standard thing he's saying now, because I've been so consistent. And it's like, last night he was like, have you meditated? And I'm like, actually, I did this morning, thank you very much.
It's noticeable, absolutely.
You can't use that just because you do something wrong and turn around. I see what you're doing. It was funny, but I know that, and on that, I know that when I'm not doing, and it's not just meditation, it's all my mindfulness, but meditation especially seems to really ground me into my body, and it puts me into being able to be in the present moment, which, as we know, is the most powerful place to be. So what are some other benefits of meditating that people, because it's so good for all different things, like, so what are some other benefits?
So much.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits. I mean, where do I start? So, you know, in terms of physical, it's anti-aging. It is.
Why don't you tell me that from the start?
And you know, and all the things that go from that come from reducing stress in the body, you know, that you know, there's so many benefits for your blood pressure, for your heart rate, cholesterol, you know, like all of those kinds of things. Like it's got such a domino effect physically, and things like your sight, your hearing, your sense of smell, your taste, touch, all of those things become heightened, they become elevated. So you're actually experiencing more of life. And there was a study, I can't remember who did it, but a study about how meditators actually see more colors. There's more, so you actually visually have a different experience of the world. And, you know, you start to see things and just like are in awe of the beauty that surrounds you, and that's because you are literally able to access more. You get more energy. You're more in tune with your intuition, so you know what to do, what to say, and when. You have better sense of timing. You have more time because you're able to do things much more efficiently. You're able to like it's good for your digestion. There's so many things, and you know you're going to sleep better.
I definitely do sleep better, because if I'm feeling a little bit of like unsettled, I will do a meditation to drop me into my sleep, and the frequency meditations. I did one the other day for my sacral chakra, and it was just like, well, she did it for Neil's sacral chakra because he's had a little bit of gout, and I got the same benefits naturally, and I was like, and I could feel my whole tummy just doing the juiciness that it needed to. I'm really sorry about the lawnmower if you can hear it. This is the part of being in a different place. Suburbia life. I'm usually out in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know about the viewers, but I definitely it's not very loud, and we're real, we're raw. What's happening?
Who wants to mow their lawns in 40 degrees at 12 o'clock during the day? Seriously.
Some people are weird. Challenge momentum is what I call it. Yeah. People are addicted to the struggle.
Yes, they are. See, now it's gone away. So when you're like, for me, I know that when I'm really getting into a beautiful routine of meditating, I have very vivid dreams. Like, I connect more in my second state of being. I really connect. And also, with the astral traveling, which is another sort of, would you call astral travel a sort of, it's a meditation, isn't it?
It can be, yeah. I mean, you can use the meditation to astral travel, but you don't have to meditate in order to astral travel. It's certainly going to help you. Like, having that practice is for sure going to help you. And there's lots of great meditations out there for that.
Right.
But yeah, like, one doesn't necessarily lead to the other.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so you do have a lot more. Like, for me, I feel like, as we know, 80% of our subconscious is quite dormant. Like, we don't use nearly, oh my God, our brain is so much bigger than what it can actually be, we can actually tap into.
Oh, yeah, there's so much.
So when you start doing this, do you find that you become more consciously aware of the subconscious, because as we know, that's also the ego sort of thing, but you find that you're really tapping in and you're understanding yourself a lot better through simple meditation?
Definitely, yeah. So self-awareness increases,
yeah,
and that can be confronting, because like all of a sudden you're really aware of maybe your own shit, and so and areas that you need to work on. It is such a gift, of course, to be able to see that and feel that and tune into it. But yes, you do. You become so much more self-aware, and so you'll start to see things differently. You'll start to see life differently, and you'll start to see more opportunities and things that you were kind of blinkered to before. All of a sudden, it's like you've got this huge vision, and it's like, oh my God, all this world was there, and I didn't even see it before in terms of opportunity. And then that's just in this dimension. We've got like maybe, definitely 12, but 13 or more maybe. Other dimensions that we're then playing in when we're accessing those states of consciousness. And then that's when things get really cool. And that's where the magic and the synchronicities and, the manifestations and all of that stuff really start to kick in, which is,
This is where that's what everybody wants to get to. That's why we're in such a hurry. Like, I want to. And I think a lot of things too that people can put. For me, it can put like a real emphasis in. Oh, I manifested this and I manifested that. Where to me, you are always manifesting when you are moving. If you are sitting in the present moment, it doesn't have to take such a big light bulb moment to all this sort of thing. Like, and it's that trust and belief that we speak about so much. But let's talk about the higher dimensions, because I think people get really excited when you start talking about the upper realms of manifestation and connecting to source and your higher self and spirit. And so when you're playing up in those realms, talk about that, because that's exciting. This is your genius.
Yeah, so I think I will say that it is like anyone who's wanting to access that stuff and play in the higher realms and explore that, I would first ask why. So check in with yourself. Why do I want to tune into that? Well, like, what is it? Because if it's coming from spiritual ego, then it's not going to be the experience that you're perhaps looking for. When you're going in from that place, you're going to get slapped around, because it's that is a three-dimensional consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing to check in
Brilliant.
on. And then when you are playing in those realms, there's infinite possibilities available to you. So, and sometimes it can be, like the first time when I first brought through Soul Blueprint, that was a series of, I did that for 50 days, and that was pure play. That was just like experimenting and seeing what's happening and seeing what's there and where I can go, and between past lives and future lives, and different planets and different beings from different planets and all those kinds of things. And it's interesting. So if you have a curiosity, like an open curiosity, and be willing to learn and be open and to receive, and not and still be discerning, within yourself. And that kind of links me to something that some people might wonder is, how do I know if it's real? Because you can sort of go, am I making this up? Is this just my imagination?
Because we're taught, and we little imagination's bad. Stop just imagining it.
Totally.
The real world.
Whereas imagination is like one of our biggest gifts, just go and check out Albert Einstein. He's got a few quotes there for you. But and so it's really allowing us to tap into and tune into our imagination and be okay with that, and knowing that you're not making it up. Everything you see inside of you is real. And we can go into, like, a good example of this is when we're like, oh, I'm sure I just saw an angel, or I'm sure I just saw blah, 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 or even looking at angel numbers like 111 or whatever. Instantly, I've got to Google it. I've got to look it up. I've got to see what it means. And it's like, well, don't forget that another human on the planet wrote that. And so that came from their interpretation. You've also got your own interpretation and your own inner wisdom and your own inner guidance, which is what I'm so passionate about. And that's why meditation is a huge part of what I do, because it helps you to go within and trust what you're seeing within you, which, helps you in all areas of life, in your job, in your relationships, in everything. And so I went a little bit off track there.
Off track is always good, because you were flowing, man. You could see you hit your passion right there. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is.
Hang on, what was I talking about? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so, what was the original question?
I was asking about the higher dimensional and playing in the higher dimensional stuff. And then you spoke about the different, like the ego asking and all that different sort of stuff, and how
and how I can trust that it's real, kind of thing.
That was, and that is a key point, because I was like, I'm like, well, and when I did, I can't remember what it was. I think it was the data I did, and I was like, well, how can I be talking to a plant? Like, this is a tree. Seriously, is this really true? And just allowing yourself to just know that anything is fucking possible. It doesn't need to make sense.
Possible. That's it. And I'd say the less logical sense that it makes, the closer you are to the truth. Because
boom.
That is 100%, like, where we're taught all of these things and these systems and structures and programs and blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. And so it's really about, like, okay, what am I seeing? What am I feeling? And talking to plants, talking to nature, like, and tapping into that innate wisdom, because streams of consciousness are coming through there continuously. And there's no start, there's no end, it just is. And so that's a really great way to connect into that and to learn to listen. But a really, really good way of, when you're starting out, or, wherever you are on your journey, really, with accessing those higher realms, is to ask questions. Where am I? Who are you? What am I seeing? what is this? Do I need to know anything more? Like any kinds of questions, and writing down, you know, I'm a really big fan of keeping a meditation journal, because you're going to notice things, and you're going to, this was the big thing with Soul Blueprint. I was writing down what I saw, what I was experiencing every single day. And I look back at that and it just blows me away. Like, it's mental.
Well, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for I keep muting myself out because of lawnmower. I'm doing it for the second time, and I'm only on day 4, and I have had 3 boom, boom, boom fucking moments of, oh, and one I was really like, really? Okay, got to trust. And that's the other thing, is trusting what's coming through. Because it is so easy to second guess. I mean, you're gonna reopen. Yeah, exactly. But it's just because logically it actually makes sense. Because I pretty much closed down my group, and then I got 2 days ago, as you know, no, open your group. That's where you are going to show the authenticity of it all. That's where you're going to speak your truth. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense, because I've done all the mind work around the work that I had to do, and it's like, so really. For me, if we can touch on that, because sometimes it doesn't make fucking logical sense when you're being told something. It's like,
exactly.
How do you know it's not self-sabotage?
Well, that's a great question. And I would say anytime it doesn't make logical sense, like 99% of the time, it doesn't make logical sense. And that's when you can trust it. It's the stuff that kind of makes you go, oh, I'm uncomfortable here. This doesn't make sense. I'm not sure why and how. If your mind automatically goes, but how could I possibly do that? That is when you know you're onto something. And you choose to opt out of the how. That's the universe's job. Leave it up to the universe. And just trust in the next step. It's not about having it all figured out and the whole plan and the whole map. It's like, what are you being shown today in this moment that you need to do, and moving forward with that. And self-sabotage from ego, the way I best know how to identify that is with the acknowledgement that the ego is usually rational, logical, you know, it makes sense, and there's usually emotion attached to it. So there's usually like a fear or anxiety, or like, you know, extreme excitement. And once you kind of learn to, you know, kind of tune into both, you can see like the extreme excitement is almost like a false excitement. It's like oh, look at this like amazing shiny thing here, rather than like truth. Like your intuition will be subtle. It's knowing, it's not emotional, it just is. It's like, it's a certainty that feels scary to trust in the beginning, because it's like, oh, I'm not used to it. I'm used to seeking validation externally. I'm used to looking elsewhere for somebody to tell me what to do. And this is why we love to look for signs. And so, you know, it comes down to, if you're looking for a sign, that's the sign. Like, you don't need a sign, because the fact that you're looking for a sign, like, okay, if I'm meant to do this, show me a sign. And then you get the sign and you're like, was that the sign? Or, you know, you see these memes that go around, it's like, I'll just wait for a signier sign. And, you know, all of this stuff. It's true. Like, you know, we all do it. It is because we're scared of the unknown, scared of the possibilities. And I was just having this conversation with a client of how it just dropped in, where she was like, I now really understand what it feels like. You know, she's in a really, really good position in all areas of life, and been working on a particular area for such a long time. And now it's all coming together. She's like, I am shitting my pants, because now I know what you mean, that it's, you know, we're often scared of like how great it actually gets to be, because we're so used to like struggling or suffering or compromising, when actually we don't need to do any of that. So I love that. I don't know how we got there, but
and the funny thing as well is that, you know, fear and excitement is the same emotion. And sometimes when
Exactly.
something comes through and you're like, oh, you actually misunderstand. First of all, you go, oh, that can't be true. And then you start disbelieving yourself. So if you can really, and this is when you could meditate, you could just sit and just ask, is this my higher self or is this my ego? And you get the answer, don't you? You really do get the answer.
And you know the answer.
Yeah.
And the ego might try and convince you that
all the reasons.
Whichever way it wants you to go. Yeah, exactly. But it's like any time it's like coming up with rational reasons why, logical reasons why, or maybe you should make a pros and cons list. That is the ego. That is the ego. So we always know.
We've all done pros and cons list. We
all have it. Absolutely. And depending on how your brain works, it can be useful. However, ultimately, underneath it all, we all know. We all know the answer. Yeah. It's just, are we courageous enough to step into it?
That's the main fear.
And the only way that you build on that is by trusting, trusting in the small things, and then just building, and then, watch the magic happen.
Yeah, because if you're playing in the higher dimensions and you're connected to your higher self, then you're only getting the right things coming through. I always like to say you're always either in pleasure or you're in pain. And when you're in, same as you say, love and, what's yours, love and?
Fear.
Love and fear, yeah. And you know that if you're getting something through that is causing you to be in pain, then you're not, or even if you're doing something that's that real pain, to keep, it's a bit of a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes when you start doing something, it is like, and to get to the pleasure, you need to move through it. So it's like, it's just navigating, isn't it? It's that beautiful navigation of.
It is. And that's why I say, you've got to build confidence. You've got to build that knowledge in yourself, because your physical body is addicted to certain things and certain experiences and certain ways of doing stuff. And so, you think about, if you haven't exercised in years or never exercised, and then suddenly you start, that is uncomfortable and, it's going to suck. And, all the things, anything you try that's new, you're going to feel a level of discomfort. And so,
growth. Anytime you're about to you're about to do growth, that's another one.
Absolutely. That is like the key time for self-sabotage, is right when you're on the cusp of something, and you're just like, this is bullshit, and everything just goes wild. That is when you're right on the edge and you just got to keep going. It's like, okay, fully focus, keep going. In meditation, in anything. So it's a fine line, like that pain, discomfort, it's often just a really good sign of growth.
And that's why having a mentor is so helpful, and I know for me it is, because I just message, I'm going through this. Oh, okay, explain a little bit more. You explain it to them, boom, you know where you're going, you can keep online. It's so powerful having somebody, or an accountability, or someone that, is on the same journey as you, that you can actually talk to is incredibly, you can't put a price tag on it, can you? You really can't.
You can't, and I think,
helped.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of people might go, oh, I've got some really good friends that support me and keep me accountable. And it's like, yes, and they have their own agenda for life.
They don't want you to grow.
They don't want you to get out of the zone that they're in, and the comfort bubble and all the things. They don't want you to change. That's a threat to their safety innately. They're not consciously thinking of that, but and so it's it just goes back to that accountability.
Beautiful. Thing. Oh, that was super juicy. That was awesome. I loved it. What would be one thing you'd like to leave the listeners to, my beautiful divine listeners? You're not listeners. What would be one thing you'd like to leave them that they can just take away? And it can be absolutely anything.
Oh, I wish you love this question. I'm not good on the spot.
I know.
There's so much. I'm like, oh, what's the
I know. Give them a tip. Give them something that they can just let them think.
The thing that's coming in this moment is don't compromise. I think
I love that.
So many of us compromise in life because we think that can't all be that good. We can't get to have it all the way we want to have it. Like, it doesn't get to be that good. Do whatever you need to do to rehearse, practice, imagine that it does get to be that true, because it does. Like, you
does.
Never, ever, 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 ever need to compromise.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. Even if it's not here yet, just trust and believe, baby.
And usually, and this is that I just want to add,
that bird
that is usually the that is usually, see, Mother Nature speaks.
Mother Nature.
That is usually the point where most people give up, like when it looks like it's not working, when it looks like, oh, I'm going to have to compromise, like, they meet a man or woman or, whatever, and it's not quite what they're looking for, but it's almost like 99% yes is still a no. So
Yep, totally. I love that. That's friggin' brilliant. I love it, love it,
hold
love
the
it.
faith.
Yeah, and the minute you compromise, you usually get slapped in the face and taught a lesson.
Totally. It's telling the universe
that was not the right man, so we're going to chuck you into some of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you're never off path, and it's all learning and growth, but why not fast track it?
Do it the easy way.
Exactly.
We're so addicted to doing it the way of the struggle and it's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on. I love that. And Narelle's going to be coming on at least once every 4 to 6 weeks. So you're going to see a lot of her now. We're going to talk about a lot of different juicy subjects. I don't even know what we're going to do next time. We just decide a couple of days before, whatever flows through, and it's perfect to line for the audience. Thank you so much, honey, for being a guest. You're absolutely amazing, and for sharing your wisdom and your just magic. I just loved it, loved it, loved it. And I got a lot out of it. So thank you. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Mwah.
And thank you for listening to another episode of The Art of Quantum Healing. I don't know where I'll be next time videoing, but it won't be in suburbia. So we will be seeing you very soon for another juicy episode. Sending you all so much love.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and help us grow the community by sharing it with your friends. I am your host, Lisa Nadler, and this is The Art of Quantum Healing.